Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with the Guys. Today, we have a great conversation, something that's going to captivate you and really give you some valuable information that can help you about being one, a father, but also raising young men to be the men that they need to be. And so, my name is Derek, and I'm going to allow these other guys to introduce themselves, even though they're probably already known and everybody already knows them. But first, let's start off with none other than my mentor, Mr. Ricardo Miller.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm excited to be a part of the talk this morning. Always delighted to be back here on Build Your Best Life. I'm in Dallas, Texas, originally from the Bahamas. I've got an accent, and I know you can hear the accent, but I've been a pastor for more than 25 years. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a city councilman. I am a father. I'm a husband. I am a friend, and I like helping people to win. I'm also a board member of Build Your Best Life. God bless you guys. It's going to be a great conversation. Share the link.
Also, next we have none other than Coach Dr. Wilburn. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Coach Dr. Kevin Wilbon, raised in Washington, D.C. Um, I've been with Build Your Best Life, I guess it's about around 3 years now. And I'm a mentor, author, speaker. I'm also a athletic coach, military, retired 24 years. I have 3 kids. I'm married. And, I am another one that loves to help kids and do whatever I can to, get them to win as well. So I'm just happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. And, let's do it.
And last but not least, the patriarch of Build Your Best Life, Mr. Dan Smith himself.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a great pleasure to be here again this morning with such great guys. Uh, I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm the proud husband of Coach Deborah D. Smith. We have 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl, 7 grands. Now I had to get that out because I don't want to get fussed at. But it's a pleasure doing this. I am a retired law enforcement after 40 years. I'm currently chairman of my deacon board at St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, where I participated in just about everything that goes on in the church. One of my members, new member, I say, but Deacon Dan, that's all they'll be calling on. All I hear is to say, where Deacon Dan? Where Deacon Dan? Where Deacon Dan? And I'm trying to get out of that role, whereas they just need to call on me all the time because I feel that we pay you all this money, you should rather be calling on me. But anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be in the company of these great men. And it's just a joy. And I thank you.
You're definitely welcome. And me, myself, I'm a motivational speaker and coach. I go around, I speak at different events, I go to different conferences, and I really just pour into people. I just really try to tell my story in order to uplift and inspire others. And with that, let's step right into the topic. Today's topic is You Are the Father, Own It. Now, that's a very pregnant topic that needs to be talked about in today's time. So let's just go straight into the first question. There are many great fathers. However, the DNA does not lie. But for some reason, so many fathers feel like it's a choice. Like you created the baby, but you have the choice to either be there or not be there. How has that impacted you personally? And if it hasn't impacted you personally, Coach Wilburn, um, give us your perspective.
Well, my perspective, excuse me, my perspective on that is when you say that, the DNA don't lie and you need to own it, then you need to own it. And I really feel that they don't have a choice in that. That's something that you did, and you need to take accountability for it, and you need to step up and be, the man that you should be when it comes to, that situation. So as far as I'm concerned, whether the DNA don't lie or whatever, if it's something that you did, you need to own it. You need to step up, take responsibility, and be there for your kid. you know. So there's no, you know, two ways about that when it comes to owning it. And, you know, I've been around a lot of kids that has been fatherless, and, you know, they actually say, you know, that I'm the next best thing, you know, to a father to them, because their father wasn't there. And it did impact them, you know, tremendously. But my thing is, guys, if you out there, you impregnating people and you doing stuff like that, handle your responsibility. Step up and be a man and handle your responsibility.
Now that was powerful. And so, Deacon Dan, what is your perspective on should they have a choice or should they not have a choice?
Well, if you no, I'm gonna put it like that. They shouldn't have a choice. I mean, if they are, as you say, DNA, and they are the father, then they need to take responsibility. If they don't want to take responsibility, drop the word father. Give them another title, you know?
Yeah.
Because I look like that word father, and then I think about my father in heaven, you know, how he's over us. So it done trickle down to me as being a father. I have responsibilities, obligations, you know. If you, and I see a lot of these guys, man, I got 7 babies. 7. Wow. Yeah, from all different ladies. I said, but are you responsible for any of them? You know, if you're not, step out the way. Because there's some, you know, some guys that would take responsibility to help these kids grow in the right direction. That's why we have a lot of young men that are in the wrong direction, because they biological father did not take the responsibility of doing what they're supposed to do. Showing respect, responsibility, giving them what they need, participating in all their activities. There's a lot going on saying you're a father or somebody.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And it's crazy because a lot of parents, a lot of fathers are so busy trying to provide if they are in the child's life that they miss out on those very important things like recitals and games and stuff like that. So with that, my mentor, Ricardo Miller, what's your perspective on should they have a choice or not?
Well, you know, the whole concept of having a choice, I like that. I think obviously we all as a society would say they don't have a choice. But the truth of the matter is a lot of boys didn't know what they were doing when they brought a child into this world. They knew they were having a moment of pleasure. They didn't know that that moment of pleasure had 18 years or 21 years of commitment that's going to come with it. And so they were thinking about that 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, maybe 10 minutes, maybe even an evening of enjoyment that they were with their significant other at the time. And so that whole take responsibility, the question is, are we teaching our sons that, you know, you take responsibility for a check that you get to take care of you. You take responsibility for your body that you're going to have for the rest of your life. But you also have to take responsibility that if you choose to go ahead and lay with a girl and that girl becomes pregnant, you are responsible for the child. So now, just like taking care of your body, just like taking care of your money, and your future, you're going to have to take care of this child. So yes, you are responsible, but I want to put this question out there. You are the father. Have you been taught to be one though?
It's good.
Now, that is a great question.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. A lot of us make these grown-up decisions when we're at an immature age. We're not really fully equipped in order to take on the roles that we create within ourselves. So that's very, very important.
Yep.
And right, we're telling these fathers to own it.
Yeah.
But what does own it mean? Can we get a certain definition of what does own it mean? Deacon Dan, lead us off on this question.
Yeah, the definition on it. I got these good points. First of all, definition on, you got to take full responsibility. Action as a father. You got to acknowledge the role of raising the child and actively participate in all aspects of the parenthood, which include the challenges and the consequences without making a shifting the blame. So, you know, that is owning it. I mean, you can't own it if you want to have these points that I just brought up. You got to have these points if you're gonna own it.
Yeah.
But if you're not gonna own it, then all this is going to waste.
Good word. Good word. Coach Wilburn, give us
Yeah.
your perspective and definition of owning it.
My perspective and definition of own it is to be righteous in what you're doing, to take care of what needs to be taken care of, to do the right thing. And a lot of people may say, okay, what is do the right thing? I feel like doing the right thing is to take care of what you did. If it's something that you created, then it's something that you need to maximize all of your time and effort into making sure whatever it is right and it's good and it's taken care of. So when you own something, that's just like you go out and you go buy a car, right? You feel like that's your car. Somebody hit your car, that's your car. You own that car. So my thing is, you're going to take up for that car. You're going to make sure that car is straight. You're going to make sure those people that hit your car take care of your car. So you own that. And pretty much the same difference, own the situation that you created. That's how I feel about owning.
And last but not least, again, we have Ricardo Miller. What is your definition of owning it?
I think when I think about the term owning it, I think about getting an understanding. The Bible says, in all you're getting, get an understanding. I think there are a lot of young men who would say, man, I'm trying my best. I'm going to buy this little man a bike. I'm trying my best, man. I'm going to get him a birthday cake for his birthday. Man, I'm trying my best. I'm going to make sure I take little man a chain with a little cross on it, and we're going to take a picture because we're going to dress alike because I'm going to be a good father. And the truth be told, none of those things makes you a good father by themselves. It doesn't. So I would say a part of owning it is knowing now that I have this child or this child is coming, I need to go get an understanding. What does it look like to be a good father? What does it look like for somebody who is owning it? I need to get that understanding, because the truth is, here's the deal. Unfortunately, that girl you laid with, you brought that child into this world with, she has a different understanding of owning it. Her view of owning it may be own her too.
Okay. And so our next question is, sometimes as men, we're not there financially or physically, and mothers feel like they have to take it into their own hands. Do you think it is appropriate or inappropriate for a woman to put that in the hands of the court system? Dr. Wilburn, we'll start with you.
Well, you know what? That's a question that it really depends on the mom, because depending on what the father is doing for that kid or what he's not doing, then I have no qualms or ill feelings for a mother to take someone to court to make sure that they're taking care of their kid. Now, you have some people that do that for spite, and they really want to take care of their kid or whatever. But if they're not taking care of their kid financially, then I think that that's something that should be done. I don't have a problem with that. But like I said, you do have some fathers that's trying their best and trying their hardest to do what they need to do. And the mom is not, letting them do that. So it really depends on the situation. If the father is not there physically or whatever, that's something that you really can't force. That's something that he has to do. But as far as monetarily, if he's not taking care of the kid or whatever, and that's his kid, then she's going to court to take for child support or something like that, then by all means do it.
Great perspective. And Mr. Miller, what is your perspective on mothers going to the court system to try to force men to be fathers to their children?
It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but it's a reality. And it's a reality because, once again, a lot of guys aren't sure if it's theirs. Then there are a lot of guys who haven't learned how to manage themselves well. and you have a child that you don't more than likely see because the child is with the mom, but now you aren't managing yourself well. So there's a lot of guys who aren't managing themselves well, and they have a child they're supposed to manage or multiple children. I love what Deacon Dan said earlier. This whole concept of you pride yourself on having 5 kids, 7 kids. The question is, are you taking care of those kids, or are you being forced to take care of those kids because you don't manage well? Clearly, you don't manage well because you brought the child in the world, multiple children in the world, without making sure that you could financially sustain the whole responsible role of having that many kids. So the court system works in a way to ensure that women aren't taken advantage of, meaning that they were impregnated and left alone to raise the child, which a lot of women have find themselves in, because some dudes actually choose not to pay. In other words, they choose to work cash jobs. They choose to work jobs where you can track or you can take from them what you can prove they're making. And that's so sad because the child suffers oftentimes, or the children suffers in situations like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. That is like a perpetual cycle, especially in certain communities. It just continues to repeat itself generation after generation. And Deacon Dan, what is your perspective on if a woman should or should not go to the court system in order to enforce a man to be financially responsible for the child?
Now you finna open up a can of worms, because this is a law enforcement officer. I'm going back on that now. I feel like if a guy, first of all, as a father, if he hadn't been taught how to take care of a child, he done lost something, just like, financially and physically, because I raised in mind, hey, you get a child, you're going to have to take care of him. You don't want one until you be able to take care of him. You got to have a job, But I done seen these guys, I done had to take them down and put cuffs on or whatever, where they did not financially take care of their kids. The mom take them to court. I agree with that. But then when they go to court, they go out there and they lose the job. You're back in court again. So then you tell they'll tell the judge, well, I don't have a job. So how can you get payment from the father and the father don't have a job? Mm-hmm. And they intentionally do these things, just to keep from paying child support, which I really have a problem with them doing that. I'd rather just take the kid, hey, if you want to pay child support, take the kid, put him in there, lock him up. Don't give him no options. Really, I really don't give them no options. Because when you give, the court system, give them options, give them so many days, give them different things. Well, you need to go find your job. As soon as you find a job, you need to come back in so we can determine how much child support you need to pay. So, but it is good for a mother if she cannot financially take care of the child to, take him to court. Mm-hmm. Because he had a part in making this baby. So he should have a part in financially taking care of this baby. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like, go to court. Take him to court. Some women I don't want to take him to court. Now go take him to court, baby. That's what I tell them. Take him to court.
Now, guys, look, we all are guys, and we're not finna beat up on guys like this. And we're talking about the responsibility of a man. But I want to throw a little wrench in there. Look, mix it up a little bit. Now, what is the responsibility of a woman when choosing the right man to have a baby with? If you don't mind, Ricardo Miller, could you please start us off on that one?
Do you know if he understands? Do you know if he understands the why that comes behind his, his decisions? The late Dr. Miles Monroe said this, and I quote, he says, where purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. Well, purpose is the why. Well, I just want to lay with you, girl. I just, come on, man. I want to hit that. Come on, man. Listen, we've been talking for a while, but here's the deal. What if you live with me and I get pregnant? Man, I'm going to take care of the baby. You ain't got no job. Come on, man. Are you contributing to your mama house? What's your credit score? How much money you got saved? What's your whole understanding of breaking the cycle because you don't even know your daddy. Will you be a deadbeat dad? See, come on, man. Most dudes, you ask them that, they even won't make out no more.
Right.
Listen, man, if I lay with you, will you be a deadbeat dad? Will you sign a document indicating should a child come out of this relationship, you are going to fulfill these 7 or 8 responsibilities that comes with this role? Do you understand the why? Why you want to, oh man, I just want pleasure. Well, pleasure may birth a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dr. Wilburn, what is a woman's responsibility in choosing the right man to have a baby with?
Well, you know what? I don't want to, hop on what Coach Ricardo Miller said, but sometimes you may have to do all those background checks and the whole 9 yards on somebody to find out if they are the right person, because that's something that's very, very hard, because what you see on the outside may not register what that type of person is on the inside. So my thing is, you always have a wolf in sheep's clothing. So you really, really don't know, the person till you get to know that person. I think that before you lay with them or do it, anything, and become very, very serious with them, take your time, find out what type of person this person is, and do your research, because we're in that day and age now that's what's going on, and you don't know. And like Coach Ricardo Miller said, you could be getting somebody that's abusive, you could be getting somebody that's just crazy. So you have to be very aware of what you're doing. You have to take your time, get to know that person, and do your background checks. That's how I feel about it.
You sure you're not law enforcement too? Deacon Dan, what is the responsibility of a woman when choosing the right man to lay with or create a child with?
Well, I'm gonna have to piggyback on both Ricardo and Coach Woodman, because first of all, you do need to get a background check. Search into it. Stop using the word like I tell these girls, especially my young ladies at church. Because the guy say he love you, you ain't got to sleep with him.
Yeah.
I say, hey, check him out. Is he do work? Where he work? How's his finance? Can he take care of somebody if something happened? Where you want to go with it? So that's why I look at them. And then, some of the fellows look at me, but Deacon Dan, you just giving away all our, which I say, yeah, I'm going to give them away because I want you to be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna go along with that. I tell you, I think Wilburn was in law enforcement his previous year, but he tell me do that background check. Yes, young lady, do the background check. You got to.
Now that was a great segment. It was real authentic. I appreciate you guys for chiming in, and we're gonna go ahead and get back to the fathers, the real topic. Research indicates that fathers' absence can significantly affect a child's emotional, social, and academic development. Do you believe that the research is accurate? And what factors can positively impact a child's development? Let's start with you, Mr. Wilburn.
Okay. Impactment on that. I'm thinking that by a father not being there or whatever, being absent, it contributes to a low self-esteem. A low self-esteem for that child, because by him not being there, they don't have anyone to mentor them, to be there for them. And, also by not being there, I think that it impacts a child in having a fruitful relationship, with, the opposite sex or whatever, because my thing is they don't have that, the backing. They don't have someone that they can talk to. And, and I'm not saying they can't talk to the mother or whatever, but, they do need a man's perspective on life and, and how to deal with things. So, and it can also, affect them, in school, as far as the academic, performances and stuff like that. So it is a impactful thing when a father is not present. So all of those things, and I do think that most of that research is accurate, because, I've dealt with a lot of fatherless young men, And a lot of them, just don't have a clue, and most of them that I have dealt with was having issues, problems, behavior problems, and stuff like that. So I do believe that the research, most of the research is accurate, but it's up to us, the ones that they look up to mentor them and to get them, right the way they're supposed to be.
Okay. And Coach Ricardo Miller, Dr. Wilburn spoke specifically about the negative effects. What are some of the positive things that we can use in order to help a child develop better?
Well, I think for one, our greatest goal should be to have a father's involvement. Okay, I think it's very, very important. But we've noticed that it's become very popular that some people say, hey, I have a spiritual father, meaning somebody in the church that would almost have adopted them. I have a spiritual father in my life who's been almost like a dad to me as well. And then there are mentors and coaches who act the role as fathers, as Coach Wilburn just referred to, and being a phenomenal example. I think more than anything else, these three things that we should all lean on. Number one, every boy, every child should have some male figure in their life who will help guide them in the form of fathership, even if it's not their biological father. In other words, a lot of us, even if it's just wisdom, even if it's some form of light provision and favor to help catapult that child forward, because the concept of one person raising a child is difficult. So I would say finding a spiritual father, finding the involvement of the father. Number two, I would say it's just celebrate those who contribute to the raising of the child. I think a lot of times youth pastors play a role. I think senior pastors play a role. I think there are teachers in the classroom that are male teachers and coaches and mentors and community leaders who are playing roles to some kids as fathers, even if they're not carrying the title. I think we should celebrate that. Celebrate that there are responsible men playing the role to help raise up a generation responsibly. And third but not least, we need to pray for our fathers who are absentee fathers. I think the Bible tells us about the power of prayer. And I think a lot of times we pray for a lot of things, but should we go ahead and fast and pray and turn our plates down with the concept of God, break this fatherless spirit that is rest upon our nation and the world. And we need fathers to not just drop a spoim everywhere, but make a commitment to discover, okay, if I was the one to help bring you into the world by impregnating your mom, I'm going to be the one responsible. So celebrating, praying, and identifying those who are doing it.
Yeah, that's powerful because we have a generation in a society that beats down deadbeat dads, and what we reward, what we celebrate, tends to perpetuate. And so, if we took the time to actually take those steps and actually speak positivity into some of those absent fathers, it might change this perspective.
Yeah.
So, Deacon Dan, can you give us a roundabout perspective of the effects of fatherless children, the emotional, mental things that they have to go through, and some of the positive things that can actually help them develop into being responsible adults?
Well, some of that fake the fix. I feel, child might feel abandoned, which can, if a child feel abandoned, it might contribute to, having anxiety, depression, low self-esteem. These things that can happen, their behavior, it could be being late to school, don't want to go to school, and they'll be likely less to receive praise. Flip side of that is, like Coach Ricardo say, have someone that's would help them, minister to them, talk to them, especially in the church. We had a group of youth, and young man said, well, he had been, before he could turn his life around, he had to get incarcerated three times, before he got his life turned around. So, but he realized that. And I guess one of the questions I asked him, first of all, do you love yourself? You know? And he said, yeah, I love myself. I did love myself. I said, you really love yourself? And you got incarcerated 3 times? So that don't trickles with me. You feel like you love yourself, but you continue to go back to jail. So I think you love jail more than you love yourself. A prison, you don't want to go through that. But flip side of that, give the child, you praise the child. You try to, you talk to him, you see him talking, you show him things that you know how to do, and give him praise. Whether he do good in school, you praise him for that. Or either sometimes you might give him just take him out and give him a burger or something like that. I had one of my great nephews that he told me I took him with me and we did a few things, a few yards and whatever, and I paid him. But he said he'd never been treated that way. Someone trying to show him how to do different things, and then on top of that, get money. Because I said, hey man, you want a drink or something? I ain't got no money. Look, let me ask you, let me make a question on this. When your uncle asks you, do you want a drink? You say yes or no. Don't ask, no, we ain't talking about money. So give him praise, work with him, be a mentor. You keep a child uplifted and give them direction. Now there's sometimes a flip side because they might come to a point where they're depressed. So how do we get them out of that? We got to work hard. You got to keep talking. Because if a young person is depressed, it's gonna take you to get them out of there, especially if you had no type of mental training to get them out of there. You're gonna have to work hard in doing that. So that's something that we just have to, minister to them and just continue to work with them. But first of all, I say don't give up on them.
Definitely. Like the guy who went to prison 3 times, everybody deserves a chance. As long as you give somebody a chance, they have that opportunity to change and turn their life around. Because I'm definitely one of the individuals who had that opportunity to turn my life around. I took it by the horns, and now I'm living a life that, when I'm trying to build my best life, I'm using effective living, and I'm trying to create the life that I don't have to take a vacation from. And so let's go ahead and kind of, bring this to a close. We've shared some valuable things. We may, share some information that can impact some lives. So, Ricardo Miller, please provide us some tips that fathers should use in order to, one, step up to their obligation and also help them to build their best life. What are your closing thoughts along with that?
Well, I would say, it's yes, she's pregnant. Yes, she just birthed a child. Yes, it's your child. Now the question is, are you ready for that? And don't be egotistical and be like, well, I got my child now, man. I got me a little one. I got my boy. I got my girl. Well, the truth is, you could have a girl. You can have a boy. You could be bringing kids into this world without really understanding your obligation, without really understanding your responsibility. So what I would say is, please go get an understanding. Get an understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge God, and He will direct your path to find people who will help you get an understanding. So get an understanding. Read books. Hey, now I'm a father. What next? Go ahead and get a mentor. Somebody you respect that has raised their children well, who has showed up and gone the extra mile to make sure that they were there for their children to navigate all that is the reality of raising children in the world today. And then third one I would say is, no matter how things end with you and the person who brought the child into this world, the mother, if it ended, you are still responsible. Even if y'all are not talking, you're still responsible. Well, I pray that y'all are talking and y'all are learning how to raise a child together. That's the best hope I have for a situation like this. However, you've got to now realize, okay, you know what? I brought a child into this world with somebody I considered to be crazy. She crazy. Here's the deal: man up and take responsibility for managing your relationship with her to take care of that child, and figure out there is a way that you can do well in raising your child even after a relationship ends. You could still be an exceptional father. The perfect situation would be to have the child in the house, to be able to be with your child as your child is growing up and going through the different stages. But if that's not your reality, make a commitment to still be an exceptional father.
Powerful. And Deacon Dan, share some of the tips that can help a father be the father that they need to step up to their obligations and truly succeed and help that not only him, but also the child to build their best life.
Okay, first I want to let you know, Coach Wilvin, he has a power outage, so I won't know if we're going to get him back or not at his place. My thing is, one, being a father, first understanding that having a relationship, sexual relationship, what can develop from that? And then realizing, are you going to take responsibilities if anything's happened? If a child is formed from that, are you going to take the responsibilities? Two, if you're going to take responsibility, you got to love that child. You know, you might not love the mother, but you got to still care. But you got to love that child. Show him that you love him. Show her that you love him. Take financial responsibility of that child. You know, I know a lot of them say, well, I got to quit school. No, you don't have to quit school. Pick up you some type of part-time job in the afternoon. I was amazed how much, you really know how much, if the child can't drink the regular milk, those cans of milk cost $50, $35, $50 for a can. So you got to be financially able to provide that. You know, so you got to do that. I mean, you look, and you need to look at the whole picture. You know, if I develop this baby, what I got to do? You know, can I take care of a child? So realize that, first of all, before you had a sexual relation, that the possibility and the financial and the burdens it's going to put on you, can I handle those responsibilities? If I can't handle those responsibilities, I got to do something to prevent me having, you know, a kid, from, you know, having my friend getting pregnant or whatever. But you got to have that. Secondly, you got to stand up, and I always say you got to love yourself. You got to love that child. If you love yourself, you love that child, you shouldn't have no problem. You can love that mother of the child also. Now, get the right type of love. I'm not talking about a devoted love. I'm talking about love. I mean, we're supposed to love one another just as God loves us. Period. So you can have that love. You can have a great make sure you have a great working relationship with that parent, so you can co-parent, even if you're not in the household. So that's another thing. But more only, the whole scenario, let's put it in one cup. Learn your responsibilities before the incident occurred, before what happens occur. Learn your responsibility or your obligations. Think, you know, you don't think in your mind. But you might be thinking it other way, but think in your mind, can I do this? You don't want to, we always talk about these two heads, and some people understand that, some people don't. But you got to have, foresight. You got to maintain what you're doing. You got to think about what you're doing and the consequences, and you're going to be your responsibilities of raising a child so he can have the best life. That'll be your main concern.
And I just want to say this. If anybody is wondering what qualifies these two guys to have this conversation, these guys are great fathers who have raised children that are actually making a productive impact in life. So these guys are definitely certified and qualified to have this conversation. And as we start to wrap up, I want to say, make sure you get Coach Deborah's book, Build Your Best Life. Please support her in the mission that she's trying to accomplish to really help young men become the men that they're trying to be. Also, she has a grateful conference that's coming up. I'm going to show you a short video on the way out. Make sure you pay attention, tune in, and lock in to the Grateful Conference. This has been another great episode of Conversation with the Guys. I want to thank Deacon Dan, Coach Miller, and even Dr. Wilburn for the impactful information that they gave. Thank you, Coach Deborah, for this opportunity, and continue on your mission to change lives.
Build Your Best Life, Incorporated, with Coach Deborah, invites you to attend our 2024 Grateful Conference, Monday, November 11th through Thursday, November 14th. This year's theme is Blueprint to Show Gratefulness. Nightly presenters are Monday, November 11th, William Manimi. Tuesday, November 12th, Evangelist Catherine Trotter. Wednesday, November 13th, Jocelyn Charles. Thursday, November 14th, Coach Ricardo Miller. These leaders are professionals from all walks of life. They will enlighten everyone on their words of blessings and gratitude. Please join us nightly Monday, November 11th through Thursday, November 14th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can view these motivating and captivating messages live on the Build Your Best Life Facebook page and YouTube channel. Please mark your calendars to ensure you don't miss these powerful messages and reflect on what you are grateful for. This time of highlighting service, giving back, survival, and appreciating even the little things will bring hope and love to all. You don't want to miss this year's Grateful Conference, Blueprint to Show Gratefulness. In addition, Build Your Best Life looks forward to blessing a young man and a single mother who is raising a son during this event. Visit our website at www.buildyourbestlife.org for more information. Or send your tax-deductible gift to PayPal. Me, BYBLWDDS30.